Last night I watched the Golden Globes for some reason. I don't know why we keep tuning into the Golden Globes. A few years ago, I thought the Golden Globes would never come back. I thought we were done with these, but apparently they're back and they're bigger than ever. I did recap the Globes last year and people seemed to get a kick out of it, so we're back. And general feelings on this year's Globes were pretty decent. You know, I think a lot of the same issues were here that were here last year. I think there were certainly some improvements, a ton of good wins, a ton of horrible wins. Let's start out with the host, Nikki Glazer, who I'm honestly not very familiar with. And going into this, I was like, I feel bad for whoever has to host this after the disaster that was last year. I don't know if you remember what happened last year, but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought she did a decent job. I mean, there were tons of cringy moments, but I feel like that just comes with the job. You have to go in just knowing you're gonna embarrass yourself, and I thought she owned it. I thought she was pretty funny. It was about as funny as you can be in a place like this. It is the hardest job out there, in my opinion, as a comedian, is to host the Golden Globes. It's like, who wants that? But unlike last year, the host was definitely not the worst of the whole thing. The worst were the Globes themselves, and I ranted about this last year, but it's like, this is the most amateur hour event out there. It's like they know that they're not taken seriously. It's like everybody involved with the Golden Globes doesn't care about this award show. The amount of technical issues were just through the roof, starting with just the basic stuff like the teleprompter. This is not something I normally bring up, but it was like all night. It was unbearable to get through. It doesn't matter how decent the jokes were, how good the bits were. The presenters were just fucked out there. Each category, you had to endure these 5-second pauses between lines where celebrities are just staring into the camera, kind of waiting for something to say. All of the lines they read off seemed super forced. It just seemed so robotic and stiff. It was just very uncomfortable to sit through. I get that it's a much more laid back setting than the Oscars. It's a much smaller room, so it's I don't know, people could feel more comfortable just taking it easy. But at the same time, the way that they face the camera and away from the crowd, it makes it feel like it's built for people to watch at home. And that casual banter just does not translate, I have to say. There was that. Again, there was the same issue of people, when they win the award, they have no idea where to go. It's like you could see people in the crowd having to guide them and point for an opening. It's like you would think there would be a clear path for something like that. There wasn't any balance with how long someone got to deliver their speech. Some people, like Zoe Saldana, was up there for I don't know, a minute, and they started playing the music and they wouldn't stop. And then someone like Adrian Brody's up there forever. And then the Wicked team, I'm like, why are we? I'll get to that in a second. It was just weird how certain speeches got a lot longer than others. It felt like at a certain point they just threw the rules out the door and didn't care anymore. And I was like, what? Let's keep the show moving. What happened to keeping it tight? The weird pacing aside, I do think that's one thing I prefer about the Golden Globes compared to the Oscars or the Grammys. They know why you're here. They stick to awards. There's not a whole lot of other bullshit. Nothing against the in memoriam section, but other than that, it's what are these special awards? I like that they acknowledge that there were honorary awards given out at other events, and you could get the gist while watching this, but they didn't waste 20 minutes on those, which are always just such a they kill the vibe, man. So yeah, basically, if we're speaking generally about the award show, it really felt like amateur hour out there. It was really embarrassing, and how are we supposed to take this award show seriously when it's run like this? It looks, oh my God. I saw on Twitter from someone who was at the Globes that there was apparently a studio scoreboard up in the corner, which is the tackiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, the music choices when people were coming up on stage or when they were reading off categories, it was something out of the 80s. I don't know what vibe they were going for there. It was a Sunday morning sitcom. It just was a very odd vibe. I don't get why that was happening. But then other awards, again, the inconsistencies, they would play the most dramatic music. But let's get to the winners. I'm not going to talk about TV because frankly, I as usual, I don't watch a lot of TV. Ripley was the only thing I was really rooting for. Zoe Saldana won Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture for Emilia Perez. And I'm not that upset about that. I think, the performances in that film are without a doubt the best part about the film. I have much more to say about Emilia Perez, but I was not entirely upset about that. I was a kind of rooting for Ariana Grande. I think she is also kind of the highlight of Wicked. I thought she was incredible. And then now that I'm looking at the list though, it's Yeah, I probably would have leaned Zoe Saldana. It makes a ton of sense. She has the most oomph to her performance out of everyone here. Felicity Jones is obviously really great in The Brutalist, but not the most memorable part of that film, unfortunately. Selena Gomez just not as prominent enough, and Margaret Qualley not doing a whole lot. Isabella Rossellini, again, not doing a whole lot. It makes sense that Zoe Saldana would take this, and I'm not that upset about it. Actor in a supporting role went to Kieran Culkin, which I am all for. It was one of those categories when they were reading off the nominees. I was like, damn, I would be truly thrilled with any of these guys. They're all so great. But yeah, honestly, I love it when Kieran Culkin has to deliver a speech and he doesn't want to deliver a speech. I was very happy to see him take this award, especially considering it was a really good performance, one of my performances of the year. Conclave won Best Screenplay, which I can also get down with. I'm not very upset about that. I think Conclave has an incredible screenplay. When I look at this, it would be between that and A Real Pain for me. As much as I love Honora, I don't think it's like one of the best Sean Baker screenplays. Conclave is a bit twisty here and there, and it gets a bit tiresome to watch after a while. I think A Real Pain is much more impressive when you see it, you know, come alive in the film. But I'm really not upset at a Conclave win. That's, you know, I can see it going all the way. Amelia Perez won Best Non-English Language Picture, which is obvious. I hate that every single year there's like the obvious winner, and it just makes this category feel like such a waste. I mean, I'm obviously great it's there. It gives a lot of international cinema a stage that it wouldn't otherwise have, but like, you know, it's just a waste of time if Amelia Perez is just going to sweep. I was obviously rooting more for Seed of the Sacred Fig. That's honestly I mean, it's the only other one I've seen. But yeah, bit of a disappointment there, but I can't really say I'm surprised. Demi Moore won Best Performance by an Actress in a Musical or Comedy, beating out Mikey Madison and Honora, which is crazy. The general vibe I've seen online is that like there's just not a lot of attention put towards this category because everyone thinks Mikey Madison is such an easy sweep. They've been talking about it like an easy sweep for like months now, and as much as I'm in support of that, obviously I think she's incredible in Honora. I didn't really understand why it was a sweep. I'm like, it's her first kind of breakout lead performance. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but like, damn. That said, I never saw this coming. I never was like thinking Demi Moore was going to sneak up just because she's not doing a whole lot in the substance. Second of all, it's a horror movie, and as we know, awards just do not respect horror like that. I rarely see an actress in a horror film get the recognition they deserve. It's a weird horror movie. It's like, and also there's just so many other people. Carla Sofia Gascon, you would really think they would go for her considering just how much love this film got. Cynthia Erivo, I could even see. Just really did not expect this, but obviously thrilled. She gave, without a doubt, the best speech of the night. I was getting a little choked up, which I truly never expected out of a Demi Moore acceptance speech. But yeah, I mean, this is just incredible stuff. I hope she takes it all the way. Even if I can't really say it's my favorite female performance of the year, I'm like, sure. You know, would love to see the substance on a stage like that. I also think, you know, it's gotten me to think a bit more about her performance. You don't walk away from that film thinking about her performance, but just because of the love, I'm like, maybe it was pretty good. Like, she's doing a lot under all that makeup, you know? She is, at the end of the day, doing a lot of acting without talking, and she delivers a pretty compelling performance through that. Another surprise, Sebastian Stan winning for A Different Man. Again, never would have seen this coming. I didn't even bother like recommending this film to my parents because I was like, it's too weird. They're probably never going to check it out. It's like, for a while I was like, it's a shame that this film is probably just going to get swept under the rug. It just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that's taking off. But now, okay, if it has a chance, I'm going hard for it because I don't even remember if I put Sebastian Stan in my best performances of the year video. I do think I shouted him out for The Apprentice, but he's so damn good in A Different Man too. Looking at the rest of the people here, it's like, I should have seen this coming. I really thought it would be either him or like Jesse Eisenberg. As much as I love Glenn Powell and Hitman, I didn't think they would ever go for something like that. Yeah, I guess I should have seen this coming. It is probably the best performance out of this bunch. Really crossing my fingers that he gets some love at the Oscars, but I'm like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. Another surprise animated feature went to Flow, which I really enjoyed. I assumed this was always going to be like a nominated film in this category. Like, I thought it would take it all the way to the Oscars. Pretty much is confirmed to at this point, right? I just didn't think it would beat out something like The Wild Robot. As much as I like The Wild Robot, I think I like Flow a bit more. It's a bit more consistent, a bit bolder as a film. I still haven't seen Memoir of a Snail or Moana 2. I really hope I don't have to see Moana 2. Or Wallace and Gromit, which I'm like way too excited to watch. But yeah, really good to see Flow win. The first Latvian film to ever win a Golden Globe. That's incredible. Best Director, Brady Corbet. I can't really argue with this, to be honest. I think, say what you will about The Brutalist, people have some opinions on this film, but I thought he directed the shit out of this film. I thought the direction was like one of the best parts about it. It's just very big, very controlled, very emotional. For something that big, you think the emotions would kind of get lost in it, but it's like there's so much tragedy though, and you really feel that through the screen. And I think Brady Corbet, good to see him get this kind of love. Score went to Challengers. The more I'm reading these off, the more I'm like, damn, they kind of nailed it. But yeah, obviously very excited about that. I owned the score on vinyl. I think this is the first time a score that I own on vinyl has ever won an award at these award shows. And like, you look at it, and I don't know why my hopes were so low for this. I was like, there's just no way they're going to give it to him. But then you remember, I guess it is Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, which, everybody loves. That I feel like they're so respected in the industry. People listen, and you look at it next to the rest of these, and these are great scores. Don't get me wrong. The Brutalist, incredible. Conclave, very good. Wild Robot, absolutely. Dune, we don't even need to talk about. But Challengers, man, that is like the score of the year for sure. That is one of the most exciting scores of the year. It takes a genre you didn't think could work that well in film, and it just blows your expectations out of the water. So good. And then immediately disappointed us with El Mal. Whatever. We couldn't get too spoiled, could we? The thing about El Mal though is it's just a bad song. Like you heard the snippet at the awards. It's just like, really? This is what we're going with? Mi Camino is way better. If we're gonna give Emilia Perez a song, it's like that is the superior track. But yeah, bit disappointed with that one. But I guess this is the way the cookie crumbles. Cinematic and box office achievement, my favorite award of the night. Lot of so many feelings going into this one. It could go so many different ways. Vin Diesel summed it up perfectly. About damn time, am I right? And they gave it to Wicked, which is the only award Wicked ended up winning. Kind of the Barbie of this year. No, I think the hype has died down significantly. It's so funny to me that people were at one point like, this is gonna win Best Picture. It's gonna win Best Picture, isn't it? And it's like, obviously not. No offense. I feel comfortable saying this, as I was like never that crazy about Wicked. I'm still not that crazy about it. Like I have not come around to it. And yeah, what am I supposed to say about this? Like, well-deserved? Where was Dune? Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama went to Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, which I have not seen. I'm very excited to see it. I just got tickets last night. It looks really great, but I can't really speak on her performance or if she deserved it or not. Have not seen the film, but I'm happy for her. I did not have much to say about this category. I went in pretty unprepared, have not seen most of these. In fact, I've only seen one of these, and that's Baby Girl, which I was honestly shocked to see was even nominated here. I don't remember when the nominations came out. I was like, really? She's here? That was obviously who I was rooting for, but only because it's the only one I've seen. But I'm very excited to check out I'm Still Here. I am excited to check out Maria. People are acting like it's kind of, shitty Oscar bait. Maybe it is, but I really like Pablo Larraín. I do like Angelina Jolie. It looks beautifully shot. Like, I'm looking forward to checking it out. That and The Last Showgirl, which looks really beautiful. And The Room Next Door. And I guess Lee. Can't leave out Lee. Best performance by an actor in a drama went to Adrian Brody in The Brutalist. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say I'm disappointed. I've said it before. I think he's incredible in that film. He deserves all the love for it. I was obviously rooting for Timmy just a little bit, just because I want to see him give more speeches. I feel like I never see him deliver an acceptance speech. He's never winning, but he's always there. And hope to see a bit more love for that performance this award season, as I think it's a pretty good one for a musical biopic. But that said, Adrian Brody, obviously incredible in The Brutalist, and probably at the end of the day, the better performance. If it were up to me, though, I would have gone Daniel Craig and Queer, which I think is, you know, I said it in the video and I'll say it again. It's like one of my favorite performances of the year. Very interesting, risky performance. The kinds of things he's doing, it's like he could fall on his face so easily, but he is crushing it. Would have given it to him. I really hope he gets nominated at the Oscars. I'm looking doubtful, but it is what it is. Motion picture drama went to The Brutalist, which, again, cannot say I'm surprised, cannot say I'm disappointed. It's a great film. When I look at the rest of these, I obviously would have given it to Nickel Boys. It is a damn shame Nickel Boys only got one nomination. I really hope it picks up some momentum, as it feels like Amazon has completely dropped the ball on it. You guys know how much I love this film. I'm going to be as annoying about it as I was with May, December. You're going to hear about it way too much, but it deserves it. And motion picture, musical, or comedy went to Amelia Perez, which is like, you know, when I look at the list, it's not like Amelia Perez swept as much as it did in my head. They only won that much on screen, which is fine. It is, at the end of the day, the most Golden Globes movie ever. The fact that it's like French and very confused politically and very showy and cringy. It's like, yeah, of course the Globes ate this thing up. I'm not too worried about it winning Best Picture. I just think this film is a little too out there for a lot of people, myself included, but not in a way that's like, you know, it's just a mess. And the more I read about it, the more I'm like, damn, it's even worse than I thought. Like, learning that a lot of people from Mexico genuinely despise this thing is pretty eye-opening. I didn't know a lot going into it. I didn't know the context and, like, I don't know how it was being received in Mexico, but it says a lot about the film. And I know that is like a separate of the work, and you shouldn't judge a film based solely on something like that, but I don't know. It's hard not to see just how gross and confused the film is, especially when you see how it's been responded to by its own people. So anyway, that's, you know, obviously a disappointment. Would have rather it gone to anything on here except for Wicked, honestly. No, I can't say that. No, I would have rather Wicked won. And that's gonna do for the Golden Globes. Again, it was fine. It was watchable. It was fun. But I just wish it wasn't such an embarrassing program to tune into. Like, get it together, man. This shouldn't be happening. Is it entertaining? Absolutely. You know, it is like watching a very slow car crash. Maybe that wasn't the right. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Golden Globes. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.